More Than a Married Couple But Not Lovers is kinda deep. See, back in the fall of 2022, a show popped up called More Than a Married Couple But Not Lovers. I slept on it back then, but picked it up at the start of 2023 and still haven't forgotten about it. The whole reason I decided to make a video about it in the first place is because I started rewatching it with my sister. When you hear of an anime called More Than a Married Couple But Not Lovers, first thing you think is that the name is just way too long. Secondly, you think of some old-timey arranged marriage. And you would be right in the arranged marriage part, but it's not old-timey. It's new age and almost borderline illegal. More Than a Married Couple But Not Lovers starts with our main character, Yaku Jiro, who is kinda crushing on his childhood friend. However, he doesn't get to crush long since a thing called a marriage practical, where two kids get one apartment room and have to act like a married couple to get a better grade to pass high school, is just enforced on them. This is completely illegal, but that's besides the point. Jiro gets buddied up with the popular girl of the school, Watanabe Akari, who acts kinda mean at first since she has her popular girl aura and Jiro has his little incel vibe, but Akari warms up to Jiro eventually. And it was less of warming up and more like a warm up kiss. See, Akari wants to date the popular boy, Tenjin Minami, and Jiro wants to date his childhood friend, Sakurazaka Shiori. Just a little warning, there will be spoilers ahead. If you want to go and watch the anime now, please do. Otherwise, continue on with the video. See, the popular boy and the childhood friend end up getting paired up in the marriage program. Something is revealed to our power couple in the form of switching. Since it is the dream for both Akari and Jiro to switch, they decide to get an A in the marriage practical. Once they get to the A grade, they can switch with anyone they want. So Akari and Jiro decide to act like a married couple. Acting like they love each other isn't the only thing that they do. They start to actually catch feelings. I mean, when you spend every day living with a person, you'll probably start depending on them, and that is exactly what happens in the show. The pacing of the show is weird. Following their relationship, in the first episode, they immediately have their first kiss, which is weird because they have their first conversation in the first episode as well. In the second episode, they get buddy buddy real quick. But you know the saying, if your crush is forcibly married by the school, buddy up and take him back. But buddying up is a little more than what happens as these two start to fall in love. One thing that throws us off as viewers, which we don't usually see, is the actual thoughts of the popular girl. Or we don't actually get that much information into her thoughts, at least not as much as we get from our main man Jiro, but we can see her feelings develop along with Jiro's. This is a big element that I think most romance anime skip out on. The thoughts of both characters make us like the characters themselves even more, but it mainly helps us want the relationship between the two exceed. I think more romance anime should employ the tactic of letting us see the thoughts of the main girl, as it created a better viewing experience overall and is one of the main reasons the relationship worked in the first place. After stacking on layers of depth and depth, More Than a Married Couple But Not Lovers never fails to surprise me. Also, one thing that I'd like to mention is the dub versus the sub. Originally I watched the anime in sub, then I tried watching it in dub for this video, and immediately stopped. I remembered the moderate toned Akari and how she usually wasn't very mean to Jiro, but the first episode of the dub was interesting to say the least. I just listened as I heard the stereotypical popular high school girl with the mean side comments and annoying tone to everything she said pop out at me like dynamite. I definitely recommend you watch it in sub for the better experience of actually liking the characters a little bit more. And this isn't a call out to the voice actor, this is more like a doesn't fit sort of situation and should be taken with a grain of salt. I'm gonna make the romance in the show easy for you with this handy dandy graph. See, we start off with Akari and Jiro living together, they end up developing feelings for one another, and then we add Shiori into the mix. Shiori loves Jiro and Jiro mostly loves her. And then here comes Minami. He and Shiori live together, and Minami starts to develop feelings for Shiori, I think. It's never really stated whether or not he does, but we do know that Akari loves Minami, but he rejected her in the later episodes, making us our handy dandy love square. I have one last thing to mention about this anime. You guessed it, the art. I guess I've started to realize that every romance anime has some of the most vibrant, expressive color schemes, which I guess makes sense because of the lack of having to animate fighting scenes. It also has the main character hair syndrome, where you can tell which character will be important because their hair isn't brown or black. Side note, the intro and outro are bangers, which also follows the theme of most romance animes. I actually remember this anime's music. Well, not really. But if I listen to it, I could probably recognize it. Good job for making it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed, leave a like and consider subscribing to help me grow. Thanks for watching. Peace.